All right, beautiful people. We are going on a 4-hour ride, and I thought I'd show the hydration and some other stuff, some tech stuff that's going on here. First off, we've got power meter pedals. If you wait long enough, you'll see a red light blink on the inside. Oh, there it went, right there on the inside. And then if you go over to the app, then it'll show, here they are. And let's see if I get the screen to show. Yeah, there they are. Asino Pro. Oh, connect. There we go. And connecting. And then it'll show the battery life on each one. There we go. How much battery I got left on each one. And before you start riding, it asks if you want to calibrate them on the bike computer, depending on any temperature changes and such. And then on the rear radar, there's an app. There's an app on your phone that Garmin gives that will, let's see if it goes off. Maybe not. It can tell I'm a person. But anyway, if you're wearing headphones, it'll play through your headphones as well, that there's cars coming up behind you, which is really cool. And then, what was the last thing? Oh, so I'm wearing these headphones right here, and they're the Open Swim Pros, and check this out. You can switch, I'm not gonna do it, but you can switch over to MP3 mode, where you can load into them MP3s and swim with them, and I've been swimming with them the past 2 or 3 swims, and it's really, really nice. And because they're loaded on there, they don't lose connection from your phone. You can just sit and listen to music or podcasts, and they work really good, at least for music. I haven't tried podcasts yet. Is that all the tech on this thing? Yeah, okay, so then on top of that, later in the show, by the way, we're either gonna talk about Zen and death or Zen and rebirth. I haven't decided, and I think it might depend on my mood. But anyway, we got a rear radar, so I can tell if cars are coming up behind me. And then let's do the hydration. And one thing I didn't show last time was my mini pump, but it's 2 liters of water right there. And I keep all my water separate from my fuel. So these are 2 fuel bottles. That's 2 hours of fuel, 2 hours of fuel, 350 calories each. So I guess that's 700 calories and 700 calories right there. It's already liquid, so I can snack on my calories straight out of the water bottle. It's already liquid, so it digests really easily. We got 2 liters of water in there with a little bit of sodium citrate for 1 teaspoon, 2 half teaspoons of sodium citrate in there. And then we got close to half a teaspoon of sodium citrate in here. And I gotta go 3 hours in this Texas heat before I get water. So I carry just a little bit extra, and just in case, and it does come in handy sometimes, or if I need to rinse the lens. And so in my frame bag, I got one of these, which I just dropped. And then got sunscreen down in there. You can see it maybe. Spray on sunscreen. And then this one is empty, but it's already got the sodium citrate in it, like that one does. So that all I have to do is just add water, and I'm already salted. Got my mud stick, I showed that last time, but when we were stopped by the train last time, I forgot to show one little thing. It's right there. Y'all can see it. There's a mini frame pump right there. And there's a strap inside this bag. And also, you can buy moldable foam, that's what it's called. Super lightweight. It comes soft, and it's crazy lightweight, and you can see it right here to fill in this gap on my frame of where I bought a large frame bag at one point, and then my frame is an extra large, so it didn't fit. So I filled it in with that. And How about we don't drop the bike? All right, so that's it. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to film today some parts that I didn't film last time. That way it makes it interesting, and we're headed that way. So let's go. 4 hours. All right, I just got the camera loaded up because we're gonna go down a really cool section of road. It's brief, but it's pretty badass. But I wanted to point out that we got our Chuck Norris sign back. He got blown down during our storms over the winter. And so now we have the eyes of God overlooking our area. He actually lives in Navasota, which is that way, a few miles. And then down a road that way. It's kind of cool. Kai had gymnastics with one of his kids, and I sat next to Chuck Norris gymnastics class. And then also saw him a few times ice skating. So you see him around town on occasion. And then also our Valley of Tears, little thing I keep my camera in. And that is an awesome gravel race put on along with Keegan Swinson and Sophia and the whole gang. Alex Howes was there in Turkey, Texas. So, but anyway, we're gonna ride up this road right here. Let's go ahead and get started. And got a little bit of a headwind for a second, and then turn left under the overpass, and there's bats on the bridge, under the bridge. It's a bat colony. So maybe we'll stop and hear them. So we're gonna have a little bit of wind noise as we head that way, but it's just, you know, half a mile up the road right there. And then also check out I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, they built what they call these feeder roads, access roads, on the side of Highway 6, right over here. And because it's undeveloped, this is both lanes going this way. And there's hardly ever a car on it. And when they built it, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna qualify for Kona so much. I've got all this road. You got 2 lanes and you got a 8-foot shoulder, I guess. It's pretty crazy. Here's our headwind. It won't last forever. Someday it'll be all developed. But it's nice while it lasted. Oh, I did Ultra Baby on this road, day 2, 172-mile bike ride. I think let's say it's 9 miles each way. It's got a stop sign at the U-turn. It's got a stop sign about halfway down at Peach Creek. And that's it. Yeah, I did 172 miles all in one day on the tri-bike. And you can tell it's relatively rolling, semi-hilly, but just straight and safe. If you ever come up from Houston and want to ride a long ways uninterrupted, you got this. I mean, just look at this thing. All right, we're about to go into the Bat Bridge. I have a sip of fuel. There's a car. Okay, if you stop quietly under here, you hear the clicking of bats. They live up in the rafters. They're kind of hard to hear. Stop. It stopped recording. I think when I moved my hand across the thing. I need to turn hand gestures off. I need to remember that. I was talking about slope. Yeah, I need to turn hand gestures off. We'll do it. I got to. So, a 45-degree angle. Okay, we are just like, I think the Navasota River is like right over that grass right there. It's right down there. So, 90-degree slope is straight up. 45-degree slope is obviously a 45-degree angle. But when somebody says a road is 10% grade or something like that, grade is rise over run. So 100% grade would mean if for every 10 foot you go forward, you go 10 foot up. So, oh, I gotta catch my breath. The grade a 100% grade is a 45-degree angle if you draw it out on paper. So you kind of have to think about it. But when it says slope on the metrics on somebody's screen on their video, and you're a cyclist, you more than double it, just a little bit. "45-degree slope is 100% grade. So let's say, 3% slope or one, it'll say slope 1 or 2. Well, you double, that's a 4% grade, 5% grade. And I figured that out and did the math. There's potholes down here in the shade. I hit one really hard the other day. We'll stop under the bat bridge and I'll mess with the settings to turn off hand gestures. Maybe we can hear the bats while I'm doing that. I think it was when I was working on road construction stuff. And my boss explained to me the difference between slope and grade. Like a lot of the metrics on the camera stuff is done for motorcyclists. That's why you have like G-force acceleration and what else? There's a Pomeranian. Dogs that bounce when they bark. Because they're so small. Okay. I'm going a little bit easy today because it's going to get so hot
Now starting early really helped. I started at 7:30, which is really not even that early. But I'm an hour and a half in plus, and I have not gotten hot. So that's an hour and a half later. But I'm not gonna get hot. Okay. I think while we mess with the voice control stuff, maybe we'll hear some bats. I can smell it. I can smell the bat poop. Oh yeah, I hear him. Zing, 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 zing. Sounds like power lines. It's pretty cool. Okay, I'm having trouble with the okay, I'm gonna stop recording so I can mess with this thing. But anyway, that's where they live up there. Yeah, maybe you can hear it. All right, going into headwind briefly here. This is where I left off on that other long ride, talking about the Galveston seawall. It's right around the turn here. And I think we're going to talk about Zen rebirth versus Buddhist rebirth. Maybe versus Hinduism rebirth. I'm not quite the expert in that one. Here we go, right up this hill here. But also, I have been thinking about the Continental Divide race, Tour Divide. They start in Canada, like a day's ride for the fast people, less than a day's ride north of the border. Grizzly bear country. Somebody saw a grizzly bear. And you ride all the way to Mexico, the border of Mexico. There's the quarry where the rocks for the seawall were. Maybe. Dug out 120 years ago, 124 years ago. And this is where my battery died. One's more important than the other. And I am having one wonderful ride. I'm riding slower on purpose to deal with the heat, or just easier. I wouldn't say slower. And I am really having a good time. So I'm in the town of Milliken right here. Like I said, it used to be 10,000 people. Now it's like 50. maybe 100. And we're gonna take a left here and go down Henderson Lane. There's a cemetery down here and a really cool turnaround. It goes down into a tree tunnel. I'm gonna do some shade hunting right here. Get on this side. The wind was really calm this morning and then it picked up. But after we turn around down here, oh, got a car coming, let me switch sides. After we turn around up here, old Land Cruiser. These people got good taste. when we were getting Kai his car when he turned 16 so he could drive around. There was an old Land Cruiser for sale just like that. That might be it. Big, heavy, and safe. My parents would be proud. I tried to get him to get it. He didn't want it. And then a few years later, now that he knows what they are, there's a cemetery. We've ridden through there. There's a loop that goes right out through there. Maybe I'll ride through on the way back, if I remember. It's not very big. Oh, the wind's picking up. So, yeah, Kai's like, I don't want to talk about it. Oh, hey guys. Woo! Oh, hey. I'm still being chased. The dogs with little legs are so funny. If I'm not afraid of the dog, I actually really enjoy them chasing me. I think it's a good exercise for them. Okay, so Unbound, no, not Unbound, jeez. What do you call it? The Tour Divide, riding the Continental Divide Trail. It's gravel, Jeep trail, some single track, some pavement. So it's mixed surface. Very rideable on a gravel bike. I would say the smartest bike would be a hardtail, maybe a gravel bike with a lot of travel. Oh, the Cutthroat, Salsa Cutthroat is like the perfect bike for it. So kind of like mountain bike geometry, but maybe drop bars. You're carrying a ton of crap. So flat bars are kind of handy when you're descending. Here we come up on this little tree tunnel. And at the end of this road, it's really funny. The people that own the ranch at the end of this road installed like a speaker box that yells at you that you're trespassing if you go any further. I'm going slower because of the heat. And it's really, really nice. And also, see, now we're getting deeper down into a creek channel down here. Much cooler down in here. But also in the back of my mind, I'm like, how hard would I go if I was riding the Tour Divide? You know, which takes 3 weeks or so. Here it is. Nothing. It said something. Oh, whatever. It used to yell more. Okay. It's really nice down in here. Because it's like, for Ironman and stuff, you know, like when you start off biking, you're like, is this how hard I would want to be biking at the end? Is this how hard I should be biking to be running at the end of the Ironman marathon? Like, no. It's like, oh, crap. Oh, with the extra heat. Yeah, look, my bike computer says 94 degrees. Try to get some sun on it. 95 degrees in the shade. So I'm biking a little bit easier. I'm cutting off a little bit of the extra mileage. And then I'm starting an hour earlier than usual. And the first hour and a half was just wonderful. And that's an hour and a half later that I don't have to deal with of heat. Because my target is 4 hours. And this route usually takes me like 4:15. So I cut off a little bit and I'm going slower. So we'll see. But I just now, remember at the beginning of the video, yep, I'm just now out of water. Where's the guy? Okay. Oh, here's our doggies. I was about to drink out of a bladder, but I'll wait. Hey. Okay. Oh, you're cute. Hey. Y'all be careful out here. Oh, we're gonna ride through the cemetery. Forgot about that. So now I'm dipping into this. I'm 3 hours in. So I got an hour left. That's nice. And these arm coolers from DeSoto are just incredible. God, I need a new pair. I was sponsored by them briefly. After I swam across Lake Tahoe, I got a wetsuit out of that. And then I did Ironman, half Ironman Galveston. And did like a 27-minute half Ironman swim or something. That's no current. That's like flying. Maybe it's a little bit slower than that. But it was pretty badass. A lot of my early work in my day job was a cemetery. And also in high school, we would go hang out and party in cemeteries. I heard, allegedly. Some people did, not me though. And got over my fear of them and learned to appreciate them. They're very cool and you should go visit them and check them out. They are really neat. Kai and I'll be out on a countryside ride and there'll be a cemetery out in the middle of nowhere, a little one like that, or smaller, or even more abandoned. That one's really well taken care of, looks like. And we'll pause. That's always nice because it'll help your fuel settle. Oh, somebody was doing the Unbound 350 XL, 350 miler, and I think it was her. Or was it another race she was doing? Anyway, oh, I think it was in England. Slept in a cemetery overnight. And she said that spooked her. Yeah, I think that would be kind of spooky. I've slept on an abandoned railroad in the mountains, the Ozark Mountains before, in the middle of the night, right on the tracks. And you just have dreams of like a ghost train coming through your tent in the middle of the night. But anyway, how hard would you be going if you were doing Unbound, or God, Unbound is such a hot topic. If you were doing the Continental Divide, the key to being really good at that stuff is your, whatever your kind of like all day speed needs to be pretty tough, and then, or pretty good, just average, actually an average speed. But you need to be able to do it just all day, and it just doesn't really phase you. And hills just don't phase you. You got good gearing. Some people do it single speed though, pretty crazy. And then we're gonna stop up here and get some water. Lawrence Tin Dam. I don't know if I talked about this on the show. He got thrown in jail along with Thomas Decker the night before Unbound. They shall become greater, more powerful, because they were rinsing off I'll stop at this stop sign, make people happy. Got a truck coming here. So there's gonna be a gas station coming right here. That'll be nice. I just realized this will probably be the gas station when I'm 80 years old. I'll come in here and eat sandwiches and then talk about the good old days. And bother the road cyclists as they come in. All right, we're gonna get water over here. We'll do a little bit of this in the shade. Yeah. So this is the Milliken Post Office. There used to be, there's a water spigot right there that they took the knob off. There's a secret water spigot I'm not gonna show because I don't wanna get in trouble if it's supposed to be kept secret. But I auto paused. I can take this water, put it in here. This is the rest of my water, my fuel for another hour. I'm probably gonna top that off, and I'm gonna put water in this one because it's got a little bit of fuel in it too. So that'll be nice, I think. All right, I'll be right back. Y'all hang tight. Stop recording. All right, beautiful people. We're about to go deep in the bottomland towards the Navasota River. This was all underwater the other day. It's one of my favorite places to ride, and was so happy when gravel bikes got invented because I always had to turn around on my road bike. I would explore my truck or my car, you know, be like, oh, this is so cool. But real quick, finish up Tour Divide, and then we'll talk about Zen Rebirth before I forget. So just in 2 days, you can see the guy that got second last year or won last year. Like, he didn't stop as soon as Lawrence Tindam and this other guy, and got ahead. And then when Lawrence Tindam and the other guy started going again, they were booking. I think it's the rest that they got. So instead of doing minimal sleep and then riding kind of crappy, the way Lachlan broke the record was sleep more every night, and then you're better able to go faster because the conditions are rough. A well-rested person will go faster, and that faster ends up being faster than if he didn't stop and rest as much. It's pretty interesting. We'll see. They just got started on the 14th of June. But, you know, I sat next to Lawrence Tindam at Gravel Locos dinner a couple nights before the race. This keeps going down to the river, but it kind of spooks me a little bit, so I'm just going to turn around here. And some people think their private road is a public, the public road is a private road. Not kidding, we'll pull a gun on you. But you don't want to argue with somebody that they're wrong when they got a gun. It's pretty rare. Very rare, actually, but still. So when Lawrence was sitting next to me, he was just hammering Alex Howes on advice on how to do it, and I dropped in my 2 cents on occasion. You know, because I've done a lot of backpacking in the bear country, but not grizzly country. And I'm just like, man, I would totally do it south of grizzly bear country. Like my bike right now has Gatorade on it. I mean, bears have a sense of smell like 1,000 times or something better than ours. Oh my gosh. How's it going? You surprised me. Cool bike. The original gravel bike right there. And then, so if you're in bear country, you're supposed to put anything that smells like anything up in a bear bag. But your bike is just covered in gummy bears and Gatorade, cake icing, you know, biscuits. It's like a smorgasbord for bears. There's a car behind me. So, what do? Hang your bike up in a tree? Man, I would be. It's bad enough with black bears, how much we have to work to keep them out of our stuff and not tearing you, chewing you up, even killing people coming through your tent in the middle of the night. Anyway, so we'll see. I don't think it's an irrational fear. You know, I surf with sharks and all kinds of stuff. Fly airplanes, in airplanes. Okay, now let's talk about some Zen. Whew. After I have some water. Okay, so Zen, well, rebirth is that idea that when you die, you're reborn as something else, right? And we'll talk about karma on another episode, but karma is just the momentum of things. It's not good or bad. It's just that things have momentum. You don't really have, I guess you kind of have good karma or bad karma, but something good happened to you is not good karma for something you did earlier. But anyway, it's the idea of if you live a good life, you come back reborn as something even better. The chances of being reborn as a human is considered to be, in Buddhism, just incredible. The fact that you were born as a human at all. Because if you were born as a human, you have the chance to be enlightened. And that is nirvana. So, and enlightened means like to understand how the world works. I guess instead of being, you know, like a dumb stump or something like that, or a rock, or a bug. So, now, Buddhism sprang out of Hinduism, and Hinduism is, you know, so old and whatever, and this caste system and dealing with life was really, really hard life. That, you know, very little, no understanding much of medicine, really. No germ theory, you know, and the masses were really, it sucked. All over the world. So, if you were rich, you're pretty well off, but everybody else, like, life sucked. So you can see, like, this idea of trying to be reborn into something better could really gain some traction. And eventually reborn and then off of this plane of Earth in existence and just get out. Get off the wheel of, is what they call it. And nowadays, you know, like life is a whole lot better. People want to come back, which just shows you how much things have gotten better. So there's that. But you know, Buddhism is named after Buddha, and Buddha started off as Hindu. It's kind of like Jesus was a Jew, and then they created Christianity named after him. And Buddha was kind of like, you know, it's like Jesus, like it's up to you. It's in your hands how you handle your rebirth, and you know, what you do in life and whatever. It kind of, it's very similar to Christianity, you know, like you go to heaven and stuff. But still, I'm pretty sure, holy crap, the river's still flooded. Buddhism is majorly into, yeah, you come back as another creature. Wow, look at this. Boy, this got wrecked. Wow. The road picks up just again over there. That's too deep. It's all flooded anyway. So the river's like a couple hundred yards that way. Very interesting. Look at the damage the floodwater's pressing against that fence. It smells down here. It's not as bad as it did before, but look at that current too. Wow. So remember on the other show I recorded, I put on YouTube, I said that they make roads gravel and stuff because if they're asphalt, see, this is leftover asphalt. All right, we are in the backyard. The battery died on me, which is something I'm still working on. I mean, it's infamously kind of short, like an hour and 15 minutes max anyway. But, you know, I think the heat might have had something to do with it. There's a river. He wants to come outside. But no, we are hanging up stuff. And there's Kai's race bike right there. His gravel bike. I'm hanging up wet stuff. We could talk about the Zen rebirth thing while we're doing that. But yeah, the battery life is something to work on. You can buy another battery, sure, you know. Actually, that's probably a big part of the cure. But then opening up the battery compartment and dropping another battery in is really sketchy if you're sweaty. And I'm not a big fan of doing that and compromising the seal and then ruining a camera and getting water in it. Oh. This is a jersey from when I won the local Gran Fondo twice, and then River chewed up the zipper on it. And this is all just wet. Actually, a lot of times when I finish a workout, a run or a ride, I jump in the pool and then cool down. And then I hang the stuff up on this bike rack that Gary gave me. And I think I just dropped those in here. Well, we could probably do this. It's pretty cool. Hear all the cicadas going right here. But Zen rebirth is different from Buddhist rebirth because Zen rebirth or Buddhist rebirth will try to bring you back, you know, as another life, and that's pretty much the de facto viewpoint on the stuff. But
Zen Rebirth is a little bit different. Let's look at Kai's bike while we talk. It keeps people interested. He's got the power meter pedals too. Zen Rebirth goes another step beyond that. And rear radar. The idea is that you can be reborn at any time. And everything is like a gateway. So you can use it to drop your hang-ups, your previous whatever viewpoints on things, and renew like your beliefs. Everything's an opportunity. So it's like every gateway, every doorway, every stopping at a traffic light and then starting again. It's got a Garmin 840 right here. No suspension on his. And he rides the high end. These are 42s, S-Works. Pathfinders. And so, you know, in Zen they'll be like, what happens after I die? And Zen is so matter of fact and so plain. And one perspective would be kind of harsh is, well, I don't know, you tell me, die and come back and let us know. Like, well, I don't know, I haven't done that. So we don't know, so don't worry about it. And the one thing you can do is die, and then be reborn constantly. So every time, like I'm gonna leave the house here to go up to work and work on a project, and that's a moment to leave behind all your hang-ups and to start again and view the world anew. And Zen is really big on that. It's big on viewing the world as it is, with no bias. And also understanding that everybody has bias, and that's why some people are miserable. Some people, the same situation, like a country music concert was here in town last night. If you hate country music, that would suck. And if you love country music, it's great. So who's right? Right? So every change, every pause and restart is an opportunity to realize that your viewpoints are just that. They're viewpoints, and they're constructs of your opinions, right? And it's opinions that make you miserable. They say, like, there's nothing worse than to go around in the world spreading your opinions to everybody. Nobody wants to hear that. Okay, here's our chain catcher. That's a wolf tooth, I think. It worked so well for Kai that I went and got one too. And this is where we upgraded to a 44 chain ring. The woman that won Unbound 200 was running a 48. And that's just crazy. Yeah, but our power meter pedals. And then if you notice right here, look at all this space. And that's why I always tell people to look at your bike, and you can probably run a bigger front tire on your gravel bike than on your rear. Look at the clearance right here. There's nothing. These are the same size tires. So on my bike, I'm running a 47, 48 on the front, and then a 42 on the rear. And then the 47 gives, on my bike, gives more suspension. Kai weighs a lot less than I do, so he doesn't mind it as much. And then this has got a BOA snap thing, it just comes right off. He wrote a frame bag for our 3-day bike trip, and I'm trying to get him to ride a frame bag again because I think it's more aero and you can carry more stuff. But if you see here, this is a Vast. These are magnesium frames. And just listening to a podcast this morning, it was either Payson McElveen? But just talking about how carbon frames just take so much damage gravel riding. And metal frames, so steel and alloy and stuff, don't take the damage that carbon frames do. And these magnesium frames have really held up. Really, really nice. But yeah, I'm really bummed that the battery died, because that would have been the part that we missed was me riding through the regional kind of wild park, and a few miles of, going, people hiking and walking around and me weaving in between them and stuff, and it would have been really, really cool. And we missed out on that because the battery died, but that's the death of that episode. And then what happens is the next episode that we make, where I actually do get that figured out and ride through there, that's the birth of another one, and then I get to attack it anew. And when the next episode we'll talk about Zen death, and you study the death and your reaction to death. And it's really unique to Zen, the embracing of death. But on this episode, talking about rebirth. There's a wasp right there. And the rebirth is an opportunity. You don't have to die in Zen to be reborn and to come back, right? That's the whole thing that's so cool, is people think with Buddhism, you think you got to die, then maybe you'll come back as like a turtle or an eagle or a god or a dolphin, something cool. But in Zen, the big difference is no, you can do that right now. You can start over every minute that you start doing something new. Because you're carrying with you all this baggage of who you think you are, and it's not necessary. It's all opinions. So if you can drop it and then start again new, then that is being in a Zen state. And every experience is wonderful and new in its entirety, because it's not tainted with how things already were. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to head up to W to the ERK. I got a project that's due tomorrow, and I hope you enjoyed this little bit of video. Kai and I both ride pretty much the same bike. Mine's one size larger, and mine has a suspension stem and a frame bag and a 47, 48 front, and then tire and the stock chain ring on it. And but we both running the rear radar. And that's about it. So it's beautiful bikes. These magnesium bikes are incredible. They're almost as light as carbon fiber, but they're metal, so they're tough as hell. And magnesium has this shock absorbing property to it. And they use magnesium a lot, and it's tough. They use it in the forks, the legs of forks, of suspension forks. So they're plenty tough. And I'm really impressed. I just wish that Vast would make you can hear me, Vast, make one that'll clear like a 50 and 50. That'll clear 50 in the front. We need this to clear 50. And I'll buy another one in a heartbeat like that. Until then, any other bike sponsors want to help us out, because we need 50s in the rear. That's it. Okay. Everybody, see you in a bit. Stop recording.